Very good afternoon to all of you. I am Gurpreet Singh, working as Assistant Professor at the Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, ISF College of Pharmacy. I am here to demonstrate a practical for PharmD first year for the subject of Pharmaceutical Inorganic Chemistry. And this practical is basically a limit test for the iron in the given sample. So let's start with the practical. The aim of this practical is to carry out the limit test for the iron in the given sample. And this practical has been taken from Rao D. Jewala, Practical Inorganic Chemistry, second edition, Birla publication 2008, in the book in which the year in which the book has been published, from page number 40 to 41. For carrying out the experiment, we need some apparatuses as well as some chemicals. As per regarding the apparatus, we need Nestle cylinders, that is 2 in number, of 50 or 100 ml capacity. It is very important to keep their capacity equal so that we are obtaining a robust and good results. Next, we need a glass rod for stirring of the solution and for preparing or mixing of the ingredients into the solution. Next, we need a beaker. We need some beakers, that is of 100, 200, 500 capacity, to prepare our standards solution or the other various solution, or to keep the solutions into their respective spaces. Next, we need a stand in which our both Nestle cylinder can be kept so in their electile positions. Next, we need some measuring cylinders. Apart from that, we need some pipettes and dropper. And we need chemicals. In the chemicals, we need sodium chloride, which is our sample, ferric alum, which is our standard, iron-free citric acids. It is we require a 20% solution of iron-free citric acid, thioglycolic acid, and ammonia solution. So let's have some introduction of this limit test. It is very important to understand what is limit test and why we are performing it. So in that context, I start with the limit. Limit, it is a certain value or amount that is likely to be present in a given substance. Or test, it is to examine or to investigate that limit, whether that compound or whether that impurity is present within limit or beyond limit. Limit test, so in that context, limit test is defined as the quantitative or semi-quantitative tests which are designed to identify, control small quantity of impurities which are likely to be present in a pharmaceutical substance. So next slide, what is the importance of limit test? Importance, they have great importance. First, they help us to identify the harmful amount of impurities. Although we cannot quantify the impurity, but we are able to say that whether that impurity, which may be iron, which may be copper, which may be zinc, which may be cadmium, which may be arsenic, which may be lead or chloride impurity or the sulfate impurity, whether they are within limit or beyond the limit. If they are within limit, then the compound is easy to use. You can easily use that compound for the pharmaceutical purpose, and you can make the dosage form of that compound, and that is quite easier to do. Next, it also helps us to find the avoidable and unavoidable amount of the impurities. Avoidable means that amount that can be avoided, or unavoidable means that is the impurity which is present in higher amount, that you cannot use that compound in pharmaceutical grade. So what are the various factors that affect the limit test? First is the specificity of the test. Any test used as limit test gives some form of selective reaction with the trace impurities. So this is the very good, or you can say this is the very much selectivity or specificity of these tests. These are quite specific, like limit test for chlorides, it's quite specific for chloride impurities. Limit test for sulfate is specific for sulfate impurities. And limit test for iron is specific for iron impurities, while lead is specific, or lead, cadmium is cadmium. So these tests are specific in nature. That any test that may be demanded which will exclude one specific impurity, but highly specific test not always the best. Less specific tests which limit several likely impurities at once are also advantageous. I'm not saying कि हर specific test करते रहें. It will consume time. We use these tests like for heavy metals. We use the test which can test all the heavy metals once at a time, whether they are limit or whether they are beyond limit. Such examples is the heavy metal test that can be applied to the alum, which not only limits the contamination by lead but also other heavy metals. Next is the sensitivity of the test. The degree of sensitivity, it varies according to the standard purity demanded by the monograph and depends upon the variable factors. Next, control of the personal errors. Personal errors must be controlled so that you cannot be sure that how much impurities you are taking. Personal errors should be minimized. You have to perform the test within the prescribed limits, within the prescribed standards, so that error should be minimal. And second, a test in which there is no visible reaction. It defines that some tests like chlorides, sulfates, they have visible reactions. They appear as turbidity, but some chemical reactions which are not giving precipitates. In that reactions, how you can judge? You can judge only by their limit test. Comparison methods. Test of this type required is standard containing a definite amount of impurity to be set up to the same time under the same condition as a text variant. Comparison method क्या है? Comparison में in this the comparison method we compare one standard with the test. Standard contains a stated amount of impurities that may be 2 ppm, 5 ppm, 6 ppm, 8 ppm or 10 ppm. And we compare the test against the standard. Then after comparison, we can identify, is it in the stated amount, in the whether the impurities are in the stated amount as per the monograph or they are beyond the stated amount. In this way, the extent of reaction is readily determined by the direct comparison of the test solution with the standard of known concentration. Next, quantitative determination. It is only applied to do special circumstances, usually in those cases where limit is not readily susceptible to simple, more direct chemical determinations. For this, we use following different methods, like you can check the limit of insoluble element. Like we have a sample that is not very much soluble in some solvent. We take it and dissolve it. Just take water and calcium carbonate. Some amount of it get dissolved, and the some amount is not dissolved. And the not dissolved part is insoluble matter in that, like in detergent powders. They are mixing it with calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate is insoluble, whether it is limit or not. Next is a limit of soluble matter. You can also check. Then limit of moisture by using moisture balance, volatile matter, residual solvent method. You can also check. Limit of non-volatile matter. You can check it by ignition. Loss on ignition. When you ignite the sample at high temperature, what is the loss of water? What is the loss of other components from that? Ash value you can determine. Precipitation method you can follow. Next, principle for the test. Limit test of iron is based upon the interaction of iron in the ammoniacal solution with the thioglycolic acid in the presence of citric acid to form iron thioglycolate complex, which is pale pink to deep reddish purple in the color. So this is the complex, this is the reaction. You can see here that ferrous iron in the ferrous form, it react with thioglycolic acid and it forms ferrous thioglycolate complex in the presence of ammonia and iron-free citric acid solution. So what are the functions of the different reagents we are using in this test? So citric acid, it prevents the precipitation of iron in the presence of ammonia first, and it keeps the iron in a solution in that form. Even in the presence of ammonia, it doesn't form any other complex. So first is the method that citric acid prevent the precipitation of iron from the solution. Thioglycolic acid perform two functions. First, iron impurities can be present in trivalent ferric form or in the divalent ferrous form. If they are present in the trivalent form, then thioglycolic acid reduce it to the divalent ferrous form. And thioglycolic acid, it form that ferrous thioglycolate complex with the ferrous ions in the ammonical alkaline medium, that is purple to pale brown in color. Ammonia, it's making the solution alkaline. Earlier, we used ammonium thiocyanate as a reagent for the limit test, but since thiocyanates are more sensitive, they have been replaced with ammonium thiocyanate in the test. Thioglycolic acid is used full analog of glycolic acid and is prepared by the action of potassium hydrogen sulfide on monochloroacetic acid. This is the preparation of thioglycolic acid. We have chloroacetic acid, potassium thiocyanate. It is giving you thioglycolic acid and potassium chloride. It is a colorless liquid having an unpleasant odor. Next, how to prepare standard solution for the iron. It can be prepared by adding 0.13 gram of ferric ammonium sulfate, that is ferrous alum or ferric alum, to 1.5 ml of hydrochloric acid and adding sufficient water to produce 100,000 ml of solution. This solution contains 0.02 mg of iron. This is the procedure. I will demonstrate this procedure. First, I will give you a reading of this procedure. Test. For the preparation of test sample, you require a sample that is in 1 gram quantity. You have to dissolve the sodium chloride 1 gram in the sufficient water and then make up the volume up to 40 ml. Then you have to add 2 ml of iron-free 20% weight by volume solution of citric acid. Then add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid. And after that, after the addition of thioglycolic acid, we need to make the solution alkaline. For this, you have to add sufficient ammonia to make the solution just alkaline to the litmus or the pH paper. Adjust the volume up to 50 ml. If you are using 100 ml, you can adjust accordingly and keep it aside for 5 minutes. Then for the preparation of standard solution, take 2 ml of standard iron solution, which we have prepared earlier, and dilute it up to 40 ml with the water. Add 2 ml of 20% weight by volume citric acid solution, that should be iron free. Add 2 ml of 0.1 ml, add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid and make the solution just alkaline to the litmus using ammonia and adjust the volume up to 50 ml. Keep this solution aside for 5 minutes. Now we have to compare the color level in the both of the solution. And in both of the solution, if the color intensity in the test solution was lesser than that of standard, it passed the limit test for iron. Welcome to the practical demonstration of limit test for iron. For this, we require 2 Nestler cylinders. One is marked with sample and one is marked with standard. For easy preparation, we have already prepared sample solution by dissolving 1 gram of NaCl in the sufficient water, and we are already having standard solution, that is a ferric alum solution that I have already explained earlier. Apart from that, we need 2 glass rods, few droppers, measuring cylinders, distilled water, ammonia solution, citric acid solution, thioglycolic acid solution, pH paper and 2 pipettes. So let's start with the experiment. First, take the sample solution and add it into the Nestor cylinder that has been marked as sample. Now add 40 ml of distilled water. Same, you can add the standard solution to the standard. And also add 40 ml of distilled water to it. Take a glass rod and stir the solution to make a homogeneous and mixable solution. Take another glass rod separate for the standard. Keep the glass rod aside. Now we have 20% citric acid solution. Take a pipette or you can use this measuring cylinder. Take out 2 ml of this. And add to the sample solution. Take out another 2 ml and add to the standard solution. Again, mix both of the solution with the respective glass rods. And keep the glass rods aside. Now we are going to add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid to the each solution. Take some thioglycolic acid in the pipette. Add 2 drops. The standard and 2 drops to the test solutions. Now again give it a mix. Now comes to the most interesting part of this experiment, that is the basification of both solution. For the basification of both solution, we use ammonia, that is concentrated ammonia solution. We are adding it drop by drop and checking the pH using the pH paper. We take a strip of that, we place it here so that you can easily visualize the experiment. Now we are going to first basify our sample solution. Take a dropper and add few drops of ammonia to it. Again take some drops and add. Now you have to mix it. And you can check the pH by placing a drop on the pH paper. As there is no change in the pH, we have to add more of ammonia. Add more of ammonia as I am adding to the solution. Give it a mix. And again place a drop on the pH paper. So the pH has not changed. We have to add more of ammonia. Check the pH again by using pH paper. So there is a slight change in the pH, as you can match the pH to the pH paper. So it's not, right now it's slightly alkaline. We have to make some it more alkaline. Take another pH strip and place the drop on that pH strip. So this since there is no change, we can add more of ammonia. As the solution was not specified, we are adding a little bit of more ammonia and giving it a mix. And check the pH. As you can see, the pH paper has turned to blue. It marks the pH range that is near 10. You can see in the pH paper. So the solution is basified. Now you have to make up the volume by adding more of distilled water. And keep this solution aside for 10 minutes. Now we are basifying our standard solution as we have basified our sample solution. We are adding the ammonia drop by drop. Now we have an idea of how much ammonia we require to make the solution basified. So we are adding in a healthy amount. As you can see, this small color has been developed. You can give it a mix, which is not stable. We can check the pH. It's acidic. We have to add more of ammonia. Give it a mix again and check the pH. It's still not basic. So you can see there is a color development in the standard solution, which is marking the beginning of this reaction, the formation of ferrous thioglycolate complex in ammoniacal solution. As the solution becomes more and more basified, this color will be more and more intense. So our standard solution is still not basified. We have to take more of this pH paper. As the pH has changed, we have to make the pH both equal. Add more of ammonia. Give it a mix. And check the pH. So now it's basic. So we have to keep both the solution aside for 5 minutes. Let's wait for 5 minutes. As we have waited for 5 minutes, as you can see, there is a color which has been, a purple color that has been developed in the standard solution, while the sample solution is still clear. So we can, after comparing the color intensity in both of the solution, we can say our sample has passed the limit test for iron and the sample is iron free. In the previous part, I have demonstrated you all of the procedure for the preparation of test and standard solution. Now we are moving towards to the observation part. In the observation part, what we have to observe, we have seen that a purple color has been produced in both of the solution. We have to compare the intensity of color that has been produced in both of the solution. And if the intensity of purple color that was produced in the sample solution is less than that of standard solution, the sample will pass the limit test for iron and vice versa. So let's have some observations. In this picture, you can see the intensity of color in the standard solution is more as compared to the sample solution. You can see sample is almost colorless. There is no color. And in the another picture, you can also see the intensity of the color in the both of the solution. The intensity of standard solution is much higher than the sample solution. So hence we can say that the intensity of color in the test solution was found to be less than that of the standard. Hence, our sample passed the limit test for iron. Or we can, after observing the color in both solutions, we can say that our sample is free from iron impurity as no of color has been produced. So these are the Viva voice question. We will discuss this in the later part. And if any other query you have, you may ask me now or the later part. Thanks for attending the practical and your patience listening and attending the practical.